Paul said in verse 13, who was before a blasphemer, after saying in verse 12, God put me into the ministry, counted me faithful. Verse 11, committed the gospel to his trust. He said in verse 13, before he did all that, I was a blasphemer, a persecutor, injurious. I obtained mercy because I did it ignorantly and unbelief. I read that and I think, yeah, what if he hadn't done it ignorantly and unbelief? Am I to gather from this passage that God only saves people who didn't know better? That some monstrosity of a man in prison somewhere who has murdered several people just because he could. If the chaplain at the prison shares the gospel with him, and that offscouring of the earth, that worthless piece of human flesh, falls on his knees, tears rolling down his face, and said, my God, forgive me for everything I did, save me. Am I to conclude from what Paul said here, that man can't be saved because he knew better? Paul really thought he was working for God when he was persecuting the church. He was a Pharisee. He thought the church was perverting the Jewish religion. And he was defending the Jewish religion then, just like he later defended the Christian religion. So he said, God did all this because I did it ignorantly. But what about, I read stuff like that, and here's how my mind works. What if you hadn't done it ignorantly? What if you'd done it and you knew better? John 3:16 and 17. For God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. For God sent not his Son into the world to condemn the world, but that the world through him might be saved. A few chapters later in John 6:37, all the Father giveth me shall come to me, and him that cometh to me I will in no wise cast out. When I read those verses, I believe whosoever will may come. Whosoever will, no matter how rotten they were, even if they didn't do it ignorantly. Now listen to me. If I believe a person can sin away any opportunity to be saved, if I'm to believe that God drew a line in the sand and said, if you cross that line, there's no hope for you. I used to preach that way when I was a young preacher. That's what Pentecostals preach. Be careful. This might be your last opportunity. You might cross a line of no return. First of all, as I got older in the Lord, I thought, where do you find that verse? Where'd God draw that line in the sand? I don't see it. If I am to believe God drew a line in the sand, then how can I ever know for sure which side of the line I'm on? How many of you know we're all sinners? If God drew a line in the sand, how do you have faith that you're saved? I might be on the wrong side of the line. You know what the human nature is going to do. We're always going to make the line where we're on the right side of it. Our neighbor's on the wrong side, but bless God, we're on the right side. The problem is, if that were true, which it isn't, it wouldn't be us making the line, it would be God making the line. The only way I can know for certain that I'm saved is because I know for certain that no matter how filthy a sinner is, if they come to Jesus, whosoever believeth shall not perish, but have everlasting life. Amen? The reason I know I'm saved is because I know God can save anybody.